Welcome to Easy Office. My name is Arsam and this is lesson number 2 in the series of Soroban Abacus. In this lesson, I would be going over the addition of 1 and 2 digit numbers. However, before going over any questions, I would like to discuss something regarding the logic which is involved in the addition on the abacus. One thing to remember is that addition on the abacus is done either in terms of fives or tens only. Unfortunately, there is a constraint of beads for uh, on the green side and the red side for each column. I'm not discussing about all the lanes. For each column, we will be doing addition column wise on the abacus. So for each column, we have only 4 beads here and one. That's basically a 5. If you remember from lesson number 1, that's a 5 and that's 4 only. So we can't add any more. Another important rule I would like to give you, this will just help you understand everything I will be going over in this lesson. The rule is that the majority of things in maths can be represented in more than one way, where every presentation is useful and suitable for us in its own way. The application of this rule will be something like this. So the application is simply like this, that let's say if we want to make the number 3, the simplest way, if we are to make number 3 in our minds, if it has to be in terms of 2 digits, that's gonna be, sorry, in terms of 2 numbers, that's gonna be a 2 plus 1. So 3 is equal to 2 plus 1. However, on the abacus, as I said, things are done either in terms of fives or tens. We'll be doing in terms of 5 right now. You will understand why I'm doing 5 after some time. So if I was to write 3, if I was to make 3 from 5, that would be 5 minus 2. So 3 is equal to 5 minus 2. 5 is a very important number for abacus. Similarly, if I was to make number 7 from 2 different numbers, let's say there are many possibilities. However, I'll just take one of them, which is 4 plus 3. I agree there's 5 plus 2, 6 plus 1, 0 plus 7. But that's one of them, and then 4 plus 3 as well. But n is also very important for abacus. So if I was to make 7 from 10, that would be n minus 3. So 7 is equal to n minus 3. Basically, what I'm trying to explain here is that if I was to add a number 7, I won't be able to get all the beads right in one go from this section. So I would be adding a 10 and then subtracting a 3. Similarly for 3, if I was to add a 3, and there I'm short of beads on the green side, so I would add a 5 and take away 2 from that. Okay, another important point to know regarding abacus is that there's priority of addition on the abacus. Okay, this rule is applicable, all these rules are applicable only for column wise. However, each of these rules will be applied separately to each column. So right now, if we ignore everything regarding everything other than the first column, so if that's the first column, forget about everything else that's over here. So what we can see is that if we want to add a number, let's say we have number 2 here, and we want to add another number to it, we will first look at the green side of that column. If the beads we want to add are not sufficient or they are insufficient, then I will move to the red part of the same column. Even if the red part beads are not enough, only in that case I'm going to move towards the next lane, in the green part of the next lane. That's the way we would be going. So first green, then red, then the next lane. So it's like green, red, green again and again for this section. Okay. Next is we need to be able to know how else, if I was to add a number to, how we can make different numbers from 5. So let's say we want to add a 1-digit number, and that 1-digit number is less than 5 and greater than 0 to 4. So if I want to add a number to 4 and I want to add a 1, so in order to add a 1, we can't add any more digits from this side because no more digits are left. sorry, no more beads are left. So I'm going to move to the red part. However, there are beads available. So, and I want to add a 1. That means the remaining 4 are going to be extra. So I'm going to add, the way I'm going to be adding a 1 is going to be, I will be add a 5 and take away 4 from it. So in this way I have added 1 to 4. And as we know, 4 plus 1 is 5. That's exactly what we got by applying the logic on the abacus. Similarly, I'm going to do this with 2. Reason why I'm going over this will make addition on abacus extremely easy afterwards, and then I would not need to go over the concept all over again and again in each question. So coming back to the topic, 4 plus 2. So I want to add a 2 now. No more beads available in the in the green part of the same column. Go to the red part. There I want to add 2 now. There are 5 available. So I will add 5 and the remaining 3 I will subtract. So I will add a 5 and take away 3. So that's 6 now. As we know from mental math, 4 plus 2 is 6, and that's exactly what we got by applying the logic. Now I'm going to do 4 plus 3. 3 from 5 can only made if we do 5 minus 2. I went that over the example when I wrote on the paper. So I'm gonna add, just to show you. So that's what happened. So if I want to add number 3 here, I'm going to just ignore these things. They'll just confuse. Okay. So I will, in order to add a 3, I'm going to add a 5 and take away 2. That leaves us with 7. So 4 plus 3 from mental math we know is 7. And that's exactly what we got. Next is I want to add a 4 to the 4. So 4 is there already. Now I want to add a 4. No more beads available here. So I will add it from this side. And here 1 will be extra. So I will add a 5, take away 1, because 5 minus 1 is 4. And I was adding a 4. So 4 plus 4 from mental math we know that gives us an 8. And that's what we got there. And if I was to add 5 to 4, that is simply just like this, that gives us 9. So this part is simple. Now I'm going to go over some questions. Okay, first of all, I'm going to go over some easy questions on the abacus. And then there's also a difficult one. Okay, okay, so now we have questions, and these are easy questions. First of all, then I will go over some comparatively difficult ones. So question number 1 is 2 plus 3. First of all, we are going to, okay, this is a very easy thing. On the abacus, whenever we are writing things, we always write them from the rightmost side. We don't use the left side. So we want to add number 2 plus 3. So we always write the first number. And as we know from the first lesson, digits beside the white line are what represent the answer. So now I was to add a 3 now. You can see that that this section I want to add a 3 and there are insufficient beads. There are only 2 available. However, I want to add 3. So I will go to this part. There are 5 available. That means in order to add a 3, I will add a 5 and take away 2 from it. 5 minus 2. Yeah. So I'm left with a 5 now. And from mental math we know 2 plus 3 is 5, and that's what we got from the logic. Next question is 3 plus 5. So we have 3 there, and we want to add a 5. That is simple. That gives us 8. This is not something very complicated. Another similar question is 1 plus 2. So we have a 1 there, and there are sufficient beads available here. 2 are available. We want to add 2 and 3 are available, so we don't need to go to the next section. To the green part of the same column. So we'll just add from here. That's a 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Next is 2 plus 5. We'll first show 2, then we want to add a 5. And that's going to be simply, this question is just going to be exactly the same way as the previous two questions were. So that's a 5. 2 plus 5 is 7. Next is 4 plus 1. So we first write a 4. Now I want to add a 1. There are no more beads available in this part, so I will go to the red part of the same lane. there is 5 available here. However, I just need to add a 1. So I will add 5 and take away 4 indirectly. 1 has been added now. So I'm left with left with 5, and that's what we got. 4 plus 1 is 5. Now 4 plus 4. Okay, so we have a 4 and we want to add a 4 to it. And how will we make 4 from 5? We don't have enough beads here to add. That means we have to go to this section. So basically I have to add a 5 and then take away 1 from it. And that leaves us with 8. 4 plus 4 is 8, and that's what we got by applying to the logic. Now there's one more thing regarding the tens part. So basically now I would like to go over the tens part. So how we can make different numbers from 10. If for this part I would just be using 9 here, and I will be adding, so I don't want to use this thing. I always want to use the beads from the next section. So I will always be adding numbers from the next lane here. And so I will be going each of the numbers separately from 1 to 9, and I will add each of these to 9 on the abacus. So if I was to add a 1 to the 9, there are no more beads available here to add a 1. Nothing available here. That means I have to go to this section. And I want to add I want to add a 1 now. However, when I go to this section, I'm adding a 1 and a 0. So basically I am adding a 10 now. That means if I was to add a 1, but we have added 10, so now we want to subtract away 9 to get back to the point. So we know 9 plus 1 is 10, and that's what we got here. Okay, so if for example I was to add number 2 to 9, nothing available here, nothing available here, so I have to go to the next section, definitely add a 10, and now basically I wanted to add a 2. So now I've added a 10, so I have to take away 8 now. 5 from here, 3 from here, left leaves us with 11. Now I want to add that's the next part, 9, and now I want to add a 3 to it. So nothing available here, nothing here, so definitely next section, add a 10. Basically I wanted to add a 3 now, so I have added a 10. That means I have to take away the extra 7 from it. 5 gone from this side, 2 from this side. That leaves us with this. If I continue going over 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 and 10, that exactly gets us to the same point. I will just go over 8 and 9 to show you that there's nothing different here. So if I want to add a 8 now, I will nothing here, add a 10 from here. I will add a 10 here, and then basically wanted to add an 8. So 10 has been added, therefore I have to take away extra 2. That leaves us with 17. Okay, now I want to add and do 9 plus 9. So I already have a 9. Now I want to add another 9 to it. So nothing available here, nothing here. So I will add a 10 here and take away 1 in order to add 9. Okay, so now I have got some difficult questions, comparatively difficult ones. Everything is just gonna be exactly the same. Nothing is going to be much more difficult. Okay, so for the first question is 6 plus 5. Sorry. So the first question is 6 plus 5. We will add a 6 here, and now we want to add a 5. We want to add a 5, however, there are only 3 beads available here. That means no green beads can be added from here. I want to add 5, 5, there's nothing available here. So I have to go to the next section. So I will, we always, basically before adding anything, we just make a combination in our mind that what way we are going to use. So I will add a 10 and take away 5 from it. That leaves us with 11. And as we know, 6 plus 5 is 11. That's exactly what we got. Next is 6 plus 7. 6 plus 7, insufficient beads here, insufficient here, definitely next section. So I will add a 10. And now I have to take away 3 from it. I can't take away 3 from this section because there's only 1 that can be taken away from here. Therefore, however, I can take, there's 5 has been added to that one, so I have to take away a 3 now. So I can take away 5, and in order to take away 3 I have to do minus 5 plus 2. So that's subtracted 5 and 2 added, and that gets us to 13. So 6 plus 7 is 13. Now 8 plus 7. So insufficient beats here, insufficient also over here. So I have to go to the next section. I want to add 7 here. So I will add a 10 and take away 3. So now 7 has been added. That gets us to 15. Next, I want to do 8 plus 8. So in order to add 8 plus 8, I will add nothing, insufficient beads here, insufficient there. So I want to add some beads from here, definitely. So in order to add an 8, I will be adding 10 minus 2. So therefore, plus 10 minus 2 is plus 8. Now 7 plus 5, that's a 7. Now I want to add a 5 here. Insufficient beads here, only 2 are available. However, I need 5. Nothing available here at all, so I have to add a 5. I will be adding a 10 and then taking away 5 from it. Okay, that's our answer. We got 12. 7 plus 5 is 12. Next is 9 plus 7. So in order to add a 7, basically I'm going to add so 9 plus 7, we have the 9 here, and then I want to add a 7. Insufficient beads here, insufficient there, so I have to use the next lane. Then I will add, so 7 is basically plus 10 minus 3. So whenever we see a question, like whenever we want to add things, we always look lane by lane and we will consider what am I going to do before actually making the move, so we do not get confused right in the middle of the computation. So 7 is basically plus 10 minus 3. So I will add a 10 and minus 3, and we get 16. So these are all the difficult questions done. That's all for today. Thanks a lot for watching the video. Kindly like the video and add a comment on it, just for if you have any objections or any changes. I would be more than happy to make any amendments and make the video all over again if you feel any difficulties. The next lesson will be regarding the addition of 2-digit numbers and 1-digit numbers, and for same I would be having easy and difficult questions. Kindly subscribe to my channel as well. Once again, thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.